One of the issues that has come up is some of the warehouses along the border.
President Buhari tells neighboring countries to exercise patience on Nigeria's partial border closure, host President Kabore of Burkina Faso. Operatives of the National Border Drill intercept smuggled goods in Katsina State.
Political parties need to do more to avoid the conduct of acrimonious primaries.
INEC says no going back on Edo and Ondo State's governorship elections in September and October this year, resident electoral. And as the world marks International Mother Tongue Day, correspondent examines Nigerian indigenous languages at the risk of extinction. Hello there, a warm welcome to the news at 9 on NTA. I am Joseph Johnson in Abuja. Joining me on the news train tonight is Jennifer Igwe in Lagos and Mohammed Ibrahim in Maiduguri. Thanks for your company. Now, let's begin with the presidency, because President Muhammadu Buhari has again called for patience from the neighboring countries as regards the partial closure of the nation's land borders. He said possible reversal of the action by the federal government to safeguard national security will be determined by a report of the tripartite committee set up by Nigeria, Benin and Niger Republic on the matter. The president stated this while receiving President Marc Christian Kabore of Burkina Faso. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
The president of Burkina Faso, Roch Marc Christian Kabore, is the chairman of the high-powered ECOWAS committee mandated to resolve the lingering issue of partial closure of Nigeria's land borders. He is here to confer with President Muhammadu Buhari on reasons for the action by the federal government and the best way forward. During the high-level engagement, which lasted more than 1 hour, President Muhammadu Buhari maintains that Nigeria's major problem is security. He said through the land borders, there have been influx of weapons, ammunition and drugs. The president said since the border closure, banditry has declined and the nation's farmers are now able to reap the fruits of their labor as dumping of foreign rice in the country has stopped. Nigeria, he explained, is very mindful of the concerns of the neighboring countries on the issue, saying, however, that his administration will find an early as well as enduring solution.
One of the issues that has come up is some of the warehouses along the border, and the request that as part of the solution to the problem, that these warehouses should also be dismantled. So the president was also looking at the possibility of an interim measure of allowing perishable products, goods, to come in immediately, to start coming in. Mr. President, pointed out that you have to balance, the security interests of a country and the ECOWAS principles on free movement of goods, persons and services. The stage at which we're at the moment is that there's been a joint border patrol mechanism that has been put in place to address these issues between Niger, Benin and Nigeria.
So for now, Nigeria's land borders remain closed?
For now, Nigeria's land borders remain closed.
President Marc Kabore of Burkina Faso came to Nigeria on the mandate of ECOWAS to resolve the issues that culminated in the partial closure of Nigeria's land borders. While some of the challenges had been discussed and agreed on, President Kabore urged the Nigerian leader to reconsider the position of the country. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And the federal government has promised more investment in agriculture as a deliberate attempt to not only make farming a truly paying business, but also sustain the upward trajectory in Nigeria's economic well-being. Muhammadu Buhari made the promise at an audience with the Council for New Nigeria initiative led by Senator Abu Ibrahim. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo again reports.
With Nigeria's vast population and arable land, President Muhammadu Buhari said without doubt, agriculture is the way to go. This common sense, he said, informed his administration's decision on coming to power to encourage people to go back to the land. The president described as fulfilling that those who went into farming never regretted it, and the country now saves millions of dollars that would have been expended on food importation. He said at the moment, Nigeria is almost self-sufficient in food, hence his directive to the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria not to give even a cent for food importation. President Buhari commended members of the Council for a New Nigeria initiative for volunteering to support his administration by galvanizing the citizenry towards guaranteeing sustainable national growth and development. Leader of the delegation, Senator Abu Ibrahim, said the Council for a New Nigeria initiative has, amongst other objectives, of creating effective synergy between the leaders and the led towards advancing the cause of nation building. The organization, he explained, serves as a platform for, amongst others, promoting the ideals of nationhood and responsible citizenship, as well as stimulating and reorientating the citizenry to become active participants in the Change Nigeria project. The New Nigeria initiative, Senator Abu Ibrahim said, is also committed to alerting government of economic, political and social initiatives that will benefit the citizenry and mobilize support to fight corruption, secure the country, develop infrastructure and bequeath a legacy of positive socio-political change. During the engagement, the council members presented a plan of action in support of government efforts at lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in the next 10 years. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And Nigeria has expressed formal appreciation to Medicines Sans Frontiers, otherwise referred to as Doctors Without Borders, for their sacrifices in the nation's areas of conflict. President Muhammadu Buhari stated this while receiving in audience the international president of the organization on a courtesy visit. Here again is Adamu Sambo with the details.
An independent medical humanitarian organization, Doctors Without Borders, have been active in Nigeria since 1996, delivering emergency aid to people affected by armed conflicts, epidemics, natural disasters, and exclusion from healthcare. President Muhammadu Buhari said the sacrifices being made by members as individuals and as a group are quite enormous, especially on non-profit basis.
People have come to know, accept and respect you for the sacrifices you are making as individuals and as a group. We remain grateful for the efforts you are making. And I assure you that we will try and secure the environment to allow you to do your job. You know, your job is not for materialism, it's a question of conscience.
Commenting on the situation in the Northeast, the president said, despite criticisms, substantial progress has been made by government in discharging its responsibilities.
You are one of our witnesses that this administration has made some efforts and there have been some successes. In fact, that is the reason why we have this new Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, to make sure that resources are properly guided and accounted for, and that NGOs that come to help us can be properly directed and their work will be fully appreciated.
President Buhari promised that respite and succor would come to all the troubled areas, especially now that many prominent and well-to-do organizations are also involved, along with international agencies. The international president of Medicines Sans Frontiers, Dr. Christos Christou, had told the president that Doctors Without Borders works in 10 states across Nigeria and adheres strictly to, amongst others, the principles of independence, impartiality, and neutrality.
We have delivered many thousands of babies. We have treated people for endemic health issues, for neglected diseases like Noma, and for emergency ones like Lassa fever. I have found much to be proud of. It's not about the money, it's not about the numbers. It is about every human being treated and every new life delivered as a cause of hope.
Medicines Sans Frontiers has a budget of 17.7 billion naira for its humanitarian services in the year 2020. It has a staff strength of 3,000, of which 90% Nigerians. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Army says it will continue to welcome any useful initiative that will help to resolve humanitarian crises affecting internally displaced persons and other victims of conflicts in the country. Chief of Policy and Planning Nigerian Army Lieutenant General Lamidi Adeosun stated this when he received a delegation of the Medicine Sans Frontiers, otherwise known as Doctors Without Borders, on modalities for the provision of medical support in the troubled parts of the country.
However, visiting camps for internally displaced people, both in Maiduguri and elsewhere, clearly illustrated the immediate challenges people face. I met with some of those who have been displaced, some for just a few days, others for years. Their stories were deeply affecting. Many feel there are no safe places left to go. Many feel that there will be no end to their suffering.
The practical application on ground is another thing, which requires a lot of intuition, a lot of modification, a lot of adjustment, so that we can have what we are getting from you and from other international organizations.
The Nigerian Army assured the group of a safe haven to enable them carry out their humanitarian services. Now let's bring you some of the day's other news. Analysis of geospatial data and other technological advancements for enhanced security in the country is part of the mandate of the Defense Space Administration Agency. Now, the agency has taken another step towards upgrading not only equipment but bringing its staff up to date on global space technology trends. Correspondent Najat Tijani reports.
Binta Ahmadu has just been certified in satellite image analysis and defense mapping, two geospatial techniques crucial to national security and defense. Binta and her counterparts from the Defense and Space Administration Agency have joined the space global elite, whose work is breaking new frontiers in the country's evolving security climate.
In assisting the troops on the field by providing them with satellite images that have been analyzed.
The graduates are expected to apply their newly acquired skills to prevent or disrupt potential extremist activities.
In line with the mandate of the Defense Space Administration, we are building capacity with a view to improving our operational efficiency with the...
Since this positioning is the key, people should have the tools and all the skills.
Those at the war front fighting insurgency, they certainly need intelligence. And so the DSA is established to support them with geospatial intelligence.
A task which Binta and her counterparts say they are well equipped to handle. Najat Tijani, NTA News.
The National Conference on Repositioning the Muslim Family for National Development has ended in Abuja with far-reaching recommendations geared towards safeguarding family values in mitigating marital challenges and societal problems for the overall development of the country. The conference was put together by the Future Assured program of the First Lady Aisha Muhammadu Buhari and the Nigeria Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs. State House correspondent Ali Kabir has more.
The one-day national conference on positioning the Muslim family for national development brought together stakeholders from all walks of life under the auspices of Future Assured program of Aisha Buhari Foundation and the Nigeria Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, NSCIA. The challenges of marriage, divorce and parenting were some of the topical issues brought to the fore during the conference.
The root of our social problems may lie with the gradual collapse of the institution of marriage. Marriage is the institution responsible for building a family through which the human race is bred. Family is the smallest unit of any society. A broken society is therefore a reflection of broken families within that society.
The First Lady is optimistic that the outcome of the conference will serve as an input to relevant stakeholders in mitigating the challenges of marital crisis as well as al-Majri phenomenon.
Outcomes from this important conference will make far-reaching recommendations, especially in the areas of marital responsibilities, frequent divorce and care for children to avoid having future vulnerable children, especially the al-Majris who are being indoctrinated into different sects that are now threatening the security and stability of our society and the nation at large.
Various papers were presented on crises within the family.
We are fully committed to working with the Supreme Council as well as the Future Assured Program to continue these programs. And I sincerely pray that everything that has been said here will be implemented.
We believe that if state governors will also come in, they will buy into this, so that even state governors institute these kinds of marriage counseling.
This is something that we all need to look into. These children are the future of this country.
The document containing useful recommendations is expected to be presented to the authorities for further deliberations and necessary actions for the overall development of the country. From the State House, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
Now, a report just reaching us says a tanker loaded with approximately 49,000 litres of petrol has split its contents from one of its rear compartments at Maryland Inward New Garage. The tanker broke down in the process, resulting in traffic gridlock. The Director General, Lagos State Emergency Agency, Olufemi Osaintolu, confirmed that no life was lost nor injury sustained, as officials of Lagos State Fire Service and the police are at the scene of the incident to ensure free flow of traffic, while the entire area have been cordoned off and blanketed to prevent any secondary incident. Well, to stay with us here on NTA News Network, we have many more when we come back. Sorry, we cannot take that break for now, but we still have a few more stories before we embark on the break. Let's take this particular one coming from the customs, because the Comptroller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, Ahmed Ali, says the service is now well positioned to commence 5% remittance to the Pension Commission while meeting its other obligations. Now, this follows the federal government's approval of its inclusion in the Consolidated Salary Scheme. The Comptroller General of the Nigeria Customs Service was before the Senate Committee on Public Accounts to respond to observations on non-remittance of 5% employee pension fund to PENCOM in 2015 and non-repayment of 4.5 billion naira domestic loan taken from the 35 billion naira special fund for rice production in the country. And now let's quickly join Jennifer in Lagos for more stories. Jennifer.
Thank you. Welcome to Lagos. Now, the Federal Inland Revenue Service has reiterated its resolve to surpass the 8.5 trillion naira revenue target set for the FIRS recently by the federal government. The revelation was made at the end of the Southwest operational tour by the FIRS chairman, Mohammed Nami, where he interacted with the members of staff across the Lagos operational offices. Awal Yusuf Jibo reports.
The 2019 Financial Act penalty for default in tax payment was increased from 20,000 naira in some cases to as high as 50,000 naira in the first instance and 25,000 naira subsequently. In an effort to bring his staff up to speed, Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Services, Mohammed Nami, interacted with senior and junior officials at their workstations in Lagos to obtain first-hand information of their challenges and the way forward.
I'm so confident that that project that has been set for us to collect, that target that has been set for the service to pursue, will be a thing that will quickly or easily realize. So I want to carry them along in whatever I'm doing, because without them, I cannot succeed on this job.
The staff pledged their unreserved commitment to ensuring that the set target by the federal government is achieved.
So this is the first time the chairman is moving, seeing staff from seat to seat, asking questions to fill feedback. It's a very nice one. I think we're having it for the first time in FRS.
I think it's very important to actually make your staff feel part and parcel of, the service and everything, to make them feel like staff unity, bottom line. So him visiting us here has just shown us that he cares about us, and he wants us to all work together to achieve our mandate. Yeah.
Sensitization tour described as morale booster is also to ensure total compliance, which in turn will enhance the development of the nation's economy. In Lagos, Awol Yusuf Jibo, NTA News.
And to maritime pollution, the global warning that the amount of plastic in the ocean will outweigh fishes by 2050 is real, and concerted efforts must be intensified towards tackling maritime litter and plastic waste. Minister of State for Environment, Sharon Ikazo, at the presentation of an action plan geared towards this direction, said the federal government is taking steps to end the dumping of 200,000 tons of plastics into the country's water annually. Michael Olaleye reports.
Nigeria is among 20 nations that contribute 83% of total volume of land-based plastic waste globally, with an estimated 32 million tons of solid waste generated annually, according to the United Nations Environment Programme. The overall implication is that $13 billion is lost to damage caused to the marine ecosystem by plastics. Changing this trend is the focus of this gathering, which is canvassing for improved awareness and enforcing existing laws.
Ministry of Environment already has a policy on waste management. The issue of single-use plastic is something that has come up as well, and we are working with stakeholders as well.
Some people are making money knowing fully well that their product is contributing to the pollutions that we all having. Whether they're going to set up a fund that will be responsible for cleaning up all this mess that we're experiencing, they have to be part and parcel of this cleanup exercise that we're experiencing.
For all key players, signatory to the Marine Litter Action Plan, the task before them is to intensify monitoring and propagate research methodology for total eradication of plastic pollution.
We've engaged a number of marine litter marshals across coastal communities and littoral areas as pilot scheme. They are already first responders in our quest to tackle the challenge or menace of marine litter.
The conceptualization of the plan, which started in 2016 with the identification of marine litter and plastic pollution hotspots, is expected to encourage environmental protection solutions to strengthen Nigerians' commitment to sustainable development goals. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NT News.
Thank you, Michael. We still have more on the news with Joseph Johnson in Abuja, but after the break.
Welcome to our wonderful world of data with these incredible new offers from your #1 4G network nationwide. Glow Unlimited.
Following recurring incidences of traffic violations resulting in multiple accidents,
The FCT administration wishes to inform the residents of the FCT that starting Monday, 17th February 2020, all traffic violators, irrespective of status or office, will be prosecuted on the spot by the FCT mobile court, and they will be named and shamed on television and newspapers. Residents of the FCT are enjoined to be law-abiding always. Let's together build the FCT of our dreams. Sir Christian Chinyaka, Oha, Permanent Secretary, Announcer.
Let's say they need alarm clock. Take it to the display now. Come on, now let me hear it. Whether you call them Basbos, Yams or Banter, Premier League Banter, they better with Coca-Cola, your official soft drink partner of the English Premier League.
When you wake up in the morning, before you start your day, breakfast time is Kellogg's time. For work and for play, for a great start to your day, breakfast time is Kellogg's time.
We always start our day with a nourishing Kellogg's breakfast, powered with the goodness of grains and 11 essential vitamins and minerals. So in our family, breakfast time is Kellogg's time.
Breakfast time is Kellogg's time.
Fine girl, come on, I get first in English. I get 18 in English. Come, see, I get 18 in English. I'm feeling the energy. Lucozade is the remedy.
Lucozade, energy to get through it.
Your information dey important, just like your identity. Now the only way we fit take hala you. Make you go browse easy.gotvafrica.com. Sign in with your IUC number and mobile number and scroll down to personal details and address. Then check well to see say everything bam. You fit change the one wey not correct. To finish everything, just click the save button and it don't finish.
Thank you.
I make sure say my phone number dey correct. That's now why GoTV fit call me make I come collect my own awoof.
Angel, time for my phone in Hawaii because now my correct phone number dey for book.
GoTV, live it, love it.
Now look me again, no. Make you go do your own.
Thanks for staying with us. We're back in Abuja. Operatives of the Sector 4 of the National Border Drill have intercepted smuggled goods worth 400 million naira in Katsina State within the last 2 weeks. Coordinator of the drill, Comptroller Aliyu Mohammed, made this known while displaying the seized items to newsmen. Shehu Adamu completes the report.
Since the commencement of the National Border Drill exercise, smuggling activities continue to decline as operatives under the drill intensified effort towards achieving 100% compliance. Recently, the Sector 4 Commander of the National Border Drill Operations intercepted 362 bales of textile materials, 377 jumbo bales of used clothes, and 880 bags of 50 kilograms of foreign rice, 270 cartons of foreign soap, 13 drums of diesel, 22 jumbo sacks of 100 kilograms of snuff, and 3 trailers of smuggled scrap metals, among others. The coordinator explained that all the interceptions were made within Katsina and its environs.
People are not ready to help us. We are begging them to help us because we are working for them.
Comptroller Aliyu Alhaji Mohammed also paraded 2 suspects for attempting to cross the border with 42.9 million CFA, equivalent to 22 million naira. He said the 2 were arrested at Kamba, a route to Niger Republic. 3 other suspects were also paraded for attempting to bribe operatives of the drill with a sum of 2 million naira to secure the release of their seized contrabands. In Katsina, Shehu Adamu, NTA News.
The ongoing investigation by the House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee on alleged non-remittance of unspent budgeted funds is in tune with federal government's effort to eliminate corrupt practices in the business of government. Minister of Information and Culture Lai Mohammed said this when he appeared before the committee. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
The job of the committee is not to witch hunt, but rather is to assist government in its bid for a more transparent governance.
This investigation, which began a couple of weeks ago, has the mandate of investigating the alleged non-remittance of 1 trillion naira of unspent budgeted funds into the Federation accounts, said to have been appropriated for capital and zonal intervention projects from 2009 to 2019. The minister commended Parliament for the efforts aimed at improving financial discipline within government circles.
This committee is a forum where the MDAs can actually explain how much was appropriated, how much of it was released, and what it was, how many projects it was used for, and at the end of the day, how much of the released funds was not utilized and what happened to that unutilized funds. Cases of constituency projects or unused funds are usually rolled over to the next year. But in the case of straight ministry projects, unused funds are mopped up and there must be a receipt.
Other agencies that appeared at the investigative hearing include the Nigeria Bulk Electricity Trading (NBET) and Federal University Lokoja, during which lawmakers questioned their records.
There was a mop-up funds of 9-point-something billion.
Yes.
Are you saying that money didn't come back to you, just went?
Yes.
It was mopped up?
Yes, sir.
Because it is a capital, we expect that you have deductions on withholding tax and others, and now it's not reflected. So what is the problem?
Chairman of the committee, Representative Francis Udiok, restated the resolve of Parliament to ensure sanity.
I saw an MDA that we housed about 138 million and didn't reflect in our submission. So the National Assembly, through this committee and other committees of the National Assembly, is doing its own effort to ensure that Nigeria is on the right path.
From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Now, many indigenous languages in Nigeria are at the risk of extinction if not preserved and passed from this generation to the next. This is because globalization is fast taking over many cultures, a trend the United Nations International's Day of Mother Tongue seeks to correct and use to promote unity and cohesion. Momso Demiandati x-rays the significance of the day.
The 21st of February annually is the International Day of the Mother Tongue. To mark the event, I paid a visit to my aunt, who is also a multilingualist, to enable me have a feel of my lineage and home. While Bachama is all I understand, Lydia understands much more. That gives me the picture of what many Nigerians should look like. Now, both of us are all grown up and may not be alive in the next 40 years to come. So, what about the younger children just coming up? Let's see how this language can be secured in their care.
I don't really know how to speak my language. I only say a few words.
Like what?
Like Ajife. I cannot speak really actually, but I can hear Igbo. I can understand it. Ekaro. That's all.
The dialect sometimes is very difficult for them because the environment we are.
That is the situation Nigeria has found herself in. Little wonder, many countries stick to their mother tongues, even in teaching and learning secrets behind their success, some say.
Language is a very, very good tool for communicate to each other around the world. It can improve the civilization. It can improve the communication.
All the many scientific research proved that people born in certain culture and grown up with certain language more able and more proficient to think in this language.
Remember, it is often said that what you don't practice, you lose. So happy Mother Tongue Day.
Interesting language, Mumso Demendati. Thank you very much indeed for that piece. But let's talk more about that language matter, because I have in the studio with me to give more insight on the essence of the day, Biafra Zadok. He's founder, African Theatre Development Foundation. You're welcome to NTA News.
Thank you, Joseph. Good evening, viewers.
All right. So let's start off this way. I speak Efik, Ibibio, Igbo, Yoruba, a bit of Yoruba, of course, and Hausa. You've heard from the report, right? Yeah. That many Nigerian indigenous languages are said to be extinct or stand risk of extinction. Why is that?
Sadly true. We have a lot of encroachments into our terrain by foreign cultures, the new media, and peer pressure. A lot of children are disconnected from their roots because both parents are employed and they have to make both ends meet, so they don't get to connect and relate with their children in their mother tongues. Mostly these children are left with house helps who can't communicate with them in their mother languages. So, once you don't get to talk with children in that particular language, they lose such tongues.
Okay, that's so, because, many have blamed the inability of a younger generation to speak their mother tongue on globalization, which you said trend.
That's right.
All right. Others say parents, you've also alluded to that, while some other people say it has to start from the school. What's your take?
Yes, the schools did a lot in destroying the children's confidence in speaking their languages. When you have to be punished for speaking vernacular,
yes,
in secondary school, even as far as primary school, so you lose the confidence, the self-esteem. It makes you feel your language is not good enough.
Yes,
it's a second fiddle.
Exactly.
So you have to speak English and even give it a touch of an accent,
exactly,
which will make you acceptable. And by and large, we've seen the destructive effects of that.
Yeah, many people feel inferior speaking their local languages, isn't it?
Exactly.
Well, okay, so what's your message on this special day?
Well, on this special day, the issue is that we have to take drastic efforts. We have to take measures, deliberate, to make sure that the next generation of Nigerians and Africans generally are connected with their roots. They have to learn to speak their languages, starting from the homes. Each parent must make sure they take deliberate steps to do that. Now, that is so because, one, it forms nexus between the children and the parents when they learn to converse in their language. And of course, it gives the children a wider perspective of a global picture.
All right, thank you very much. Well, you may not understand my language, but let me thank you in my own language. Papa, manam tutu. Thank you so much, all right. Thank you very much indeed. I've been speaking with Biafra Zadok, his founder, African Theatre Development Foundation. It was nice speaking with you.
Same here. Thank you, Joe.
All right, let's move on now. The Federal University Dutse has graduated 786 students for the 2019-2020 academic year. The university, which was established in 2012 with 3 faculties, witnessed its 5th convocation, with 52 out of them making a first class. Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo stressed the need for young people to take advantage of the present-day technology to enhance their entrepreneurial skills and stimulate a virtual economy. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Regarded as the fountain of knowledge, expectation from the people is high for higher institutions to provide quality education capable of finding solutions to the numerous challenges, both expected and unexpected, that human race or nations may face. Solution providers, the Vice President describes higher institutions, urging them to always make their teachings dynamic.
The era of cramming the teacher's notes and just reproducing those notes for high grades is over. The graduate of the future is a problem solver. The graduates that we're pushing out today are problem solvers, thinkers, entrepreneurs. Our educators and policy makers, schools and universities must adapt their curricula, their policies and projects to improve the skills that enable the graduate to nimbly and constantly respond to the ever-changing face of the economy and the workplace.
In the lecture facing the new decade, a topic the Vice President directs to the young men and women for the reason that they are the future of the country and that the future is here. Urges them to take advantage of the opportunities the new decade is providing.
We are an entrepreneurial people, a society of multitaskers who now, thanks to the virtual economy, can make real opportunity out of anything that we're passionate about.
The Federal University, Dutse, is among the 12 federal universities set up in 2011. In Dutse, Jigawa State, Jide Onifade, NT News.
Another break is here. The news continues shortly.
Enjoy yourself, Miss Young woman. Don't go borrow somebody.
Be nice.
You're welcome.
Please, where's the restroom? Or just go into your right. Thank you.
I follow.
Mommy, it's me.
But you see, it's nothing to worry about.
Now, Glow 4G, the wrong thing.
Data is oxygen. Glow 4G, the new speed of life. Your #1 4G network nationwide. The very best from Glow, the grandmasters of data.
It is morning. A new beginning. As you prepare everyone for the day ahead, just anything is not enough. Only you make breakfast special, creamy, tasty, with vitamins and nutrients we need for a delightful, healthy start.
So start your day right with Hollandia Evap.
Hollandia.
Today or 4 days when my girls won't come visit and I need to come go expire.
Oh, my guys, they can't follow me watch this match. I must not fold the hand.
Babe, what's happening now? Sorry to disappoint you, but my subscription don't expire.
The match is not on my GoTV package.
Now your holla be that. I beg, give me your phone.
Make I show you how you go take do it for my GoTV app for your phone.
Life is so much easier with my GoTV app. Make payments, clear error messages, change your package. You can also check your due dates and keep abreast of your payment history.
With the corner, Matip is there.
The new My GoTV app is everything you need in one place. So what are you waiting for? Download My GoTV app now from Google Play or App Store to enjoy the easy life. GoTV. Live it, love it.
INEC will not shift ground on the timelines given in the Edo and Ondo governorship elections held in September and October this year. INEC Chairman Mahmood Yakubu renewed the stand of the Commission at the first quarterly meeting with resident electoral commissioners in Abuja. Mayor Ogidi reports.
360-degree meeting of electoral umpires, first in the year 2020. So, best wishes for the year were done in arrears. Then the INEC chairman moves in. No smiles, no handshakes, but bearing a message of warning to both political parties and staff of INEC ahead of Edo and Ondo governorship elections.
Political parties need to do more to avoid the conduct of acrimonious primaries or failure to observe due diligence in the screening of their candidates. We'll continue to keep an eye on the conduct of our officials and apply appropriate sanctions on erring staff, both regular and ad hoc.
The INEC chairman also confirmed the receipt of letter from the Senate president declaring Bayelsa Central and Bayelsa West senatorial seats vacant as Senator Doyediri and Senator Lawrence Erujapo assume position as governor and deputy governor respectively in Bayelsa State.
Vacancies were declared in 2 senatorial districts yesterday. We are also awaiting declarations of vacancies for 2 more senatorial districts.
After this, yours and his colleagues were asked to take a leave as deliberations become scarcely for family consumption. Mayor Ogidi, NTA News.
The national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Adams Oshiomhole, has described as mischief the allegation by the Rivers State government that he masterminded the protest at the residence of the Supreme Court Judge Justice Mary Odili in Abuja. In a statement signed by the Chief Press Secretary to the national chairman, Simon Egbebulem, Oshiomhole condemned the allegation by the Rivers State government that he and Minister of State for Petroleum, Timipre Silva, sponsored thugs to attack the residence of the Supreme Court judge. The statement added that Oshiomhole was not in any way involved in the incident, adding that Oshiomhole has tremendous respect for Dr. Odili as a friend for years despite political differences. Oshiomhole condemns any harassment Justice Mary Odili had suffered for a judgment she gave within her powers as a judicial officer. The statement notes that Oshiomhole will always hold the judiciary in the highest esteem and the obedience of court orders. Dissatisfied by, as a party, the APC under Oshiomhole's leadership has returned to the Supreme Court seeking the review of the January 13th Bayelsa governorship judgment as a sign to demonstrate democratic culture to which Oshiomhole subscribes. Federal government is re-strategizing to ensure poverty reduction and wealth creation with inauguration of a 500 mechatronic training workshop and administrative block to make youth self-reliant and contribute to nation building. The fully equipped edifice at the Industrial Training Center, Kano, is aimed at empowering youth on general mechanics. Awal Salisu reports.
Skill acquisition economic experts say remains the most viable and sustainable solution to rising unemployment and poverty. It has also been identified as the surest way with which teeming Nigerians can be equipped for employability and entrepreneurship. It is in appreciation of these facts that the federal government embarked on programs aimed at empowering youth to make them self-reliant and contribute to nation building. One of such efforts is the inauguration of Mechatronics Workshop at the Industrial Skill Training Center, Kano.
The Mechatronics Workshop being commissioned today will, amongst others, serve to upgrade the skills of technicians and craftsmen in the industry.
We earmarked to train 1,000 youths in motor mechanic in order to improve the repairs of vehicles.
Skills and unrelenting support
have spurred us to new levels of performance.
The edifice, comprising of mechatronics, general mechanics, auto repairs and welding among others. In Kano, Awal Salisu, NTA News.
Bridging the gap of inadequate medical personnel and ending medical tourism is a task stakeholders are working to achieve in the West African sub-region at the closing of the 60th West African College of Surgeons. They say they are leading the campaign as they have so far deployed more than 7,000 medical personnel to across the sub-region to provide quality healthcare services. Tessio Mary reports.
It all started in 1960 when the West African College of Surgeons was formed by a young Cameroonian doctor as a platform for training of medical doctors that will man specialist hospitals in the West African sub-region. 60 years down the lane, the college is celebrating its success story with more than 7,000 fellows across the region. Over 500 more members and fellows were also welcomed into the fold with an oath to contribute their quota.
I hereby promise.
President of the West African College of Surgeons, Dr. Sagrin Maguen, says with proper remuneration and conducive environment, the issue of brain drain will be a thing of the past.
The college anticipated years ago in having what you call the mid-level manpower training, meaning not training very full fellows, specialists, but training some diplomats and giving some certificates so we can have people in the community.
We are aware that the disease burden of surgery will not be covered by the regular treatments that we offer to patients.
Most of the trained doctors remain in the city center. Only few go to the community, and that is where the problem is.
Neurosurgery practice in Nigeria is an evolving area which our elders, they have tried to push forward. My intention is to join in the force.
We tend to put into work and grown up the younger ones.
Many fellows who made it to the Hall of Fame were honored at the scientific conference with the theme Surgery and Comprehensive Cancer Care in West Africa. In Abuja, Tessie Omeri, NTA News.
Let's now join Mohammed, who is standing by in Maiduguri for more stories. Hello, Mohammed.
Hello, Joseph. Thank you and welcome to Maiduguri. Federal Project Support Unit of the Office of the Vice President has concluded training on psychosocial support for staff of Community and Social Development in emergency and conflict situation in Maiduguri. Yagusubuka reports that the training aimed at building their capacity.
The training is supported by World Bank in collaboration with International Organization of Migration, drew participants from 30 states of the Federation with the purpose of educating them on how, when, and where to seek further technical assistance on psychosocial support for survivors when necessary.
We are expected also to build our skills on how to train others on mental health and psychosocial support.
It's long overdue that we have such knowledge to go back to our states and impact on the people.
Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umara, represented by the Executive Secretary, Agency for Sustainable Development and Humanitarian Response, Bunu Mongunu, expressed optimism that participants after the training will be more knowledgeable on psychosocial support while dealing with traumatized victims. Participants at the end of the training, according to National Coordinator CSDP, Dr. Abdul Karim Obaje, should be able to support communities and groups mainstream psychosocial support issues as well as provide linkages to referral pathways as part of their micro projects.
We are expected to counsel and monitor the rehabilitation of 375,000 persons. Borno was chosen for this workshop. It will showcase that peace is setting in for good.
It is expected that knowledge acquired at the 4-day training will be stepped down to other CSDP staff in the 36 states represented. In Maiduguri, Yagum Subukar, NTA News.
That is all from Maiduguri. Network News continues in Abuja after the commercial break.
Channel where you watch just now don't waka, no panic.
Can say me no panic.
You go do it by yourself like ABC. Oh yeah, press the menu button on top your remote. Scroll up and down till you see Information Central. Then press OK.
Press OK.
Check the signal strength and quality. If the signal strength and quality pass 70, make you press the exit button, go back. Go advanced options, then choose installation, then go to reset and press OK.
Press OK.
Wow, now you sef fit catch all those channels wey be one miss road by yourself. Yes, make your groove for no loss. You see as I do am, abi?
And I see as I do am.
Go TV, live it, love it.
And I see as we do am.
Lassa fever occurs when a person gets bitten by a rat carrying the Lassa virus. It is also contacted through the consumption of foods that have been contaminated by either the saliva, urine, or excreta of the rats. Lassa fever is deadly, so protect yourself and loved ones from it. Keep rats away from your homes. Ensure that leftover foods are properly covered at night and heat up properly before consumption. Wash fruits properly before you eat. Maintain regular hand wash with soap and water, as well as environmental sanitation. Report all feverish conditions and bleeding from the nose or mouth to the health facility nearest to you, and don't indulge in self-medication. This message is from the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA.
The National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, has dissociated itself from the website, announcing the postponement of online registration for prospective Corps members with a fake site on the internet, advertising mobilization and relocation of intending Youth Corps members to states of their choice at a price. Director General, NYSC, Brigadier General Shoaib Ibrahim, warned mischief makers who use the internet to defraud innocent citizens to desist.
I see no reason why somebody will go and advertise and put a number online that if you want posting, you want this, you should contact that line, and that is negotiable. It is fraud, and we have written to the security agencies to help us trap. But as I'm even talking to you, we've made arrests. The DSS has arrested some in Oshun, and we are trailing others in other parts of the country.
The NYSC boss also said the registration of prospective Corps members for the 2020 batch orientation course has commenced. And now let's bring you sports now. Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports intensify preparations towards next month's National Sports Festival in Edo State. Tamara Ebiwe is here with details.
In line with the existing structures to aid the development of athletes in the country, which has seen the adoption of Nigerian wrestler Oduayo Adekoroye by a corporate organization, Minister of Youth and Sports Development Sunday Dare has reassured support for Women's Basketball League champions Air Warriors after recent challenges which prevented them from participating at the African Basketball Club Championship.
We're going to also introduce them to the Olympics Scholarship Fund that helps to support their education.
He has changed the narrative, and every one of them, they are happy.
In a related development, Federal Capital Territory Administration is renewing its dedication to sports development with feasible projects and partnerships with relevant stakeholders. Minister of State, FCT, Ramatu Tijani Aliyu, disclosed this while hosting members of the Sports Writers Association of Nigeria, FCT chapter, and further assured on adequate welfare packages for athletes ahead of the National Sports Festival in Edo State.
We are looking up to so many other sporting activities that we will either revive or initiate.
In other news, Nigerian taekwondists are battle ready to secure qualification for 2020 Olympics after the 4 representatives weighed in for women's -49 and -67 kg categories, as well as men's -68 kg and +80 kg categories ahead of the qualifying tournament for African countries, which begins in Rabat, Morocco on Saturday. In football, the English Premier League continues Saturday with Crystal Palace taking on Newcastle United live on the NTA, Saturday at 4 p.m.
With sports updates, Tamara Ibiwe, NTA News.
And that's the news. Thank you very much indeed for watching. From me, Joseph Johnson, and the entire crew, Asiere Mufo Tutungbong.